My name's Ella Papanicolaou. I'm currently undergoing my master's degree at the University of Nottingham. I'm specialising in international law, counter-terrorism and security. And I'm approaching sort of the final quarter of this degree, year long. So obviously I'll be finishing in September, I'll be graduating then. And really, I've just been on, my interest in security and counter-terrorism alongside with international law has sort of been ongoing for quite some time now. And obviously, as I'm reaching the end of my master's, having to really sit down and think about which route of security specifically I'd like to go into. And I think specifically the area of cybersecurity, all of the new threats that are emerging globally, is something that should seriously be considered, especially for people my age coming out of master's degrees and thinking about how you can utilise your skills. I think it's an area that's ever growing. Security in general is actually ever growing and expanding. And I think the need for people to sort of have a passion for the area is going to grow as the industry grows. So I think that's something, definitely useful to go into, because I think if you're passionate about it and it's an expanding industry, I think you're going to be enjoying your day-to-day job or day-to-day role, whatever that may be. I did my dissertation on women's rights in Saudi Arabia, and this has stemmed from personal experience within the country as a female. And obviously this has sort of been incorporated now into the side of international law and specifically more broadly human rights, and I've tailored that within that dissertation topic to the area of women's rights within the country, and moving towards the security risk and sort of detriment between the US and Saudi Arabian relationship for my master's dissertation, and what impacts that has globally in terms of the threats of terrorism, whether they've increased or declined. So again, tailoring such research to a career that I'm interested in going in has definitely been useful. Being able to use the skills that I've learned over the time of my degree and my master's program, and really sort of engage in a job and a role that I enjoy first and foremost, and a job that's also challenging at times, because I feel like you should never be too comfortable in what you're doing, because obviously going into something security and terrorism related, threats are constantly changing, and I feel like you have to be aware of those threats. So ideally in about 5 or 6 years time, I would like to be in a job perhaps in a role analysing security risks and suggesting ways of adapting to those risks, and perhaps undertaking sort of ideas of what future risks we may have to we may be posed by, and dealing with those effectively. I think you definitely, first and foremost, you definitely have to have a passion for it. You have to be interested in it, because it's not easy, it is challenging, and you have to be able to go away and read and research and analyse what you're reading to sort of come up with the best concise arguments as to what you've read. Definitely have to have a strong interest in the subject, and also how it sort of interlinks in other areas and other issues that are going on in the world. I think you have to have a broader knowledge of sort of what's going on globally, current affairs, what's happening in the news, conflict in certain areas of the world, because it all does interlink in the broader picture of things. I think that's something that people coming out of a master's level or even degree level should still be aware of.